Comes down to this. Allen looking to throw. Pressure throws.
Yo, 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 what's up? It's Chris Sims. It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned, Week 17 in the books, live YouTube. We are here. What's up, broski?
That's right.
Connor Rogers is here. What's up, everybody out there? That was the Patriots on the bus, watching the Bills game, watching the Bills lose. And maybe the most amazing play of the year where the best quarterback, maybe the best player in the sport, has maybe the easiest throw he's had in 5 weeks, and he misses it. And because of that, that locks in the New England Patriots as the AFC East champions. It is amazing. We'll break that game down. We're going to break it all down. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's good out there. Hope you're good, man.
I'm good, man.
Another good weekend of football.
Look at us, New Year's week.
Yeah,
we're here.
Good Christmas, everything there?
Good Christmas. Yeah. Everything's rocking and rolling.
Man, it was amazing. It was great to have a few days off, watch football, be a normal fan, do all that. The Saturday games, of course, were good, too. We're going to break all that down. We're going to hit it all here. We are. But, man, we had some good ones yesterday, certainly, to lead off the show here.
What's your take on the Saturday games? Because I love it. Me and you cover college all year, but I love that college ends early and you get something new, which is Saturdays in the NFL through December.
Yes.
Because I like that it's just one game at a time, rather than the mayhem that is 1 p.m. on Sunday.
I love it. I love it. I wish it started a week earlier.
I do, too. Honestly. That's my one take is I'm like, I want more of this.
Because we had that first Saturday where it was like, wait, the only thing on is Army-Navy? Like, we're going to no football here? So there was major withdrawal symptoms, okay? So that is the first thing. Yes, I want to see that. I love Saturday football, to your point. And then the other thing that needs to be fixed, and I was saying this to Florio, is we can't lock in Christmas Day games anymore. We can't lock them in. You know, not that they were bad. They were better than maybe what we thought they would be, especially with Minnesota pulling off the upset, right? But none of them were all that exciting to watch. And we're in a day and age now where, I mean, we're proving it this week. We can figure out a schedule in 5 days. So why can't we wait till after Thanksgiving to go, you know what? Now we kind of got a feel for what teams are good, who's not good, who's injured, who's not injured. You 6 teams will play on Christmas, right?
Right.
And kind of have that so we don't get some duds like we did on Christmas night where, the games are competitive, but, I mean, you always kind of felt like Dallas was going to win the first game, right? There was never really it was like, oh, Washington's hanging in there.
The stakes weren't high enough.
Yeah, stakes
That's
weren't
the
high
problem.
enough. You felt like, okay, hey, Kansas City's hanging around, but can they really pull this off against Denver? And then Minnesota, if you didn't love defensive football, right? Most people were like, oh, that game wasn't that fun to watch. I loved it because of what Brian Flores did to a really damn good offense in Detroit, but I do think it's something that the league could certainly talk about this offseason and fix there.
Must have been a good slate for you because Nate406 in the chat says, Chris, you made me some good money last week on my parlays.
Okay.
Or week before last.
Oh, week before last. Okay, that's good to hear. All right.
I guess the picks are going well.
The picks are going well. I don't always pick the best bets the right way. I don't.
Key picks are really tough.
So they are tough. And I have people, and sometimes, that's where I wish I had a few extra days, right? Like a few extra days.
Thursday morning is when you lock yours in.
Thursday morning is where I really lock them in Wednesday night. I mean, that's when I lock them in.
So you have one practice to go off of.
And, usually, like, there's a few games where, Friday I think about it. Saturday I talk to some people, think about it more, all of that. And I come away sometimes going, I wish I would have said this, or, ooh, I think the game can end up like this. Picking the games is hard. And sometimes I need to listen to myself talk a little bit, too. I have a number of friends who follow me on my picks podcast, and they go, why did you pick this team to win? Did you hear what you said? Or why did you pick this as the best bet over this game? You said all this stuff. I didn't listen to you on your best bet. I picked this game because you sounded more convinced with that. And sometimes I'm like, damn, why didn't I do that? And that's not one of my strengths all the time, but I'm glad I won somebody some money out there.
So Pete put a little note for me in the chat coming off of our topic of the Christmas Day. The Premier League, for their entire schedule, doesn't announce match days and times until a few weeks out. Possibly we could do that for the NFL. Not all the time, but like Christmas Day is...
Well, when we get later into the year,
that's a big
some of these standalone games, right? That's where you would just like to be like, let's not have anything set in stone. Let's just figure it out as we go. That's fine. I mean, this week, everybody's supposed to play on Sunday. Oh, wait, it's a weird week. Hey, let's move 2 games to Saturday now. Hey, Tampa, Carolina, you're playing Saturday. Hey, Seattle, San Francisco. I know you played Sunday night, and one of you was across country, but you're playing Saturday now. So I think they could figure that out, and it would make for more money for the NFL and be a better viewing experience for all of us.
I feel like the first step is what they did, the division matchups to close out the season, and it's played into the NFL's hands. Obviously, Ravens-Steelers for it all on Sunday Night Football here at NBC. You brought up the Panthers and the Bucs as well. Let's jump into the Week 17 recap because, man, last night was absolutely electric on Sunday Night Football between the 49ers and Bears that came down to literally the last play of the game, which feels like every Bears game comes down to the last. Like, if you're watching Ben Johnson's team, buckle up for all 4 quarters. For the Niners, they clinched the number 1 seed Week 18 with a win over the Seahawks. The Rams have been eliminated from NFC West contention because of that, and the Bears in this loss clinched the NFC North for the first time since 2018 after the Packers loss, of course. But they are eliminated from number 1 seed contention now because of this game. But the game itself, I mean,
arguably the most fun game to watch of the year.
Just answer after answer.
It's in the running.
I think the first 5 drives were scores.
I mean, it was back and forth all night. It was big plays. It was, 2 unbelievable offensive minds going at it.
Right, and having every answer every time.
And having every answer every time, and 2 underwhelming defenses on top of that, as we're going to talk about as we go here. But again, I just, you look at Ben Johnson, you look at Shanahan, and it's not hard to see and go, oh, they're about as good as it gets in football. And I think if you ask me, and I think by now, if you ask me 2 coordinators I could pick first, it'd be Shanahan or Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
It'd be the 2 guys I'd want. No doubt. When I watch their offense, I'm more blown away by it, by anything. I think there's a common respect between those 2 as well, right? I think Ben Johnson's had his eye on Shanahan for a number of years.
It feels like
it. He's kind of given me that in person when I've talked to him and stuff like that. He's given me that feeling. Like, I watched your boy, and your boy's good.
It's a good guy to emulate.
He's a good guy to emulate. Shanahan's amazing on what he's done. I mean, again, Shanahan, and we've talked about it a lot, but yeah, I mean, I would argue, and I don't know if he'll win Coach of the Year because I know it's an amazing year. But I sit here not only as a friend, but somebody that evaluates football and go, I think this is the best coaching job he's ever done. When you take everything into account, receivers not being available all year. We don't know what to do. We can't run the ball that well. We're not playing that good in the interior part of our offensive line. Okay, we'll just invent a passing offense for our running back out of the backfield and make it work that way as everything else comes along. Oh, we're missing Kittle. Oh, no Brandon Ayuk all year. Ricky Pearsall can't play.
Never plays.
We got the issues there. Oh, Brock Purdy's playing. Oh, you're going to play Mac Jones and think you're going to win? I mean, come on. If people said, hey, you're going to have to play Mac Jones 7 games before the year, the public would have gone, oh, the 49ers aren't going to be good. Did you see Mac Jones last year in Jacksonville? I mean, those are all the things you would have heard. No, they go 5-2, and he lights up the scoreboard, and he's surgical on a weekly basis.
People were asking if Mac Jones should be the starter.
Exactly right. That's where
That's a crazy town we get every time this happens.
That's how awesome Kyle Shanahan is. Kyle Shanahan makes a lot of guys look a lot better than they are. He's a master of offense, and with the run game going now and them getting a little healthy and still no George Kittle, which is a big thing, the impressive thing that's gotten going just here as of late is the run game. And if they can get this run game going, they're going to be a pain in the ass because the run game's going to help their defense a little bit by chewing up clock like it did last night. I mean, that was definitely one of the under the radar aspects of the game was the Bears defense having to be on the field so much, and then the Bears scoring so quickly on offense on that side of the ball where it was like, man, the Bears defense is back out there again. But yeah, I'm amazed at what Shanahan's doing. I'm amazed that we are sitting here right now and we're going, the San Francisco 49ers can win the number 1 seed.
It's unbelievable.
This is to me where Shanahan is great. And this is where we got it. Like, I'll echo what Troy Aikman said a few weeks ago when he had Colts 49ers on Monday night. He goes, if you give me a coach to start an organization, I'm taking Kyle Shanahan.
I would agree with
that,
yeah.
And I think a lot of people would agree with that. I mean, one, he's got his hands on the defense. We know Robert Saleh runs it, but it's always like, oh, no, this is what, oh, you're gone? We're going to do this, new defensive coordinator. So he's got his hands on that. We know he's a master on the offensive side of the ball. The injuries they've had to dealt with, and this is where it feels New England-y as far as dynasty New England-y and what I'm talking about here. It's a rebuild year. This is a freaking rebuild.
At least retool.
It's a soft rebuild.
Yeah,
right. Like where they're
competitive
like, hey,
rebuild.
We can be good.
Yeah.
We can be hang in there. Our schedule is favorable. But 1 seed, I think if you asked like the 49ers, Shanahan, Lynch, like, hey, you guys got the kind of roster that could be a 1 seed before the season started, they probably would have looked at me and be like, I don't know about that. All right. but they believe, they take into the coaching. Saleh has been one of the best free agent acquisitions you could possibly get in the offseason. So he's got the defense flying around, even though I made this point to Floria, right? And this is going to be one of their kryptonites here in the playoffs and how far they can go is the defense, right? But I make this point to Florio. I go, name me a defensive lineman on the 49ers.
That's the problem. They don't have people.
That's what I mean.
Right.
But it's still here we are going, wait, you can win the 1 seed? And most people that are NFL fans on the street, we can go to New York City right now and go, name somebody on the 49ers defense. And they'd be like,
Yeah, they're not thinking of Alfred Collins right away.
Bosa, Fred Warner. It's like, well, they're not playing right now.
Right.
Can you name somebody else? Right. And I think that speaks to the coaching we're seeing right now. But what an unbelievable offensive showing. Brock Purdy, awesome. Brock Purdy making a few plays off schedule. I mean, the one touchdown play he had was very Josh Allen, Mahomes-esque. And I think Chris Collinsworth said it right. I mean, I think if it was Mahomes or Josh Allen, we would all go, oh, my God. And I still went, oh, my God. I don't know what he was talking about. I was still going, oh, my God. He just doesn't have the same sex appeal as those guys. He doesn't do it as cool. He can't just flick his wrist. It's always an elongated motion. So he doesn't look as cool doing it. But, damn, he is hot right now. And then if he can stay hot and that offense can stay hot, and then he just makes a few plays every now and then when Shanahan can't deliver, they're going to be a real pain in the ass in the playoffs.
To be fair on this podcast, you and I are definitely right up there with, hey, the $50 million quarterbacks need to play like $50 million quarterbacks.
Exactly right.
We do it at Tua. And Brock Purdy right now.
He's earning it.
He is every bit of a $50 million quarterback when it looks like that.
He has. He's doing that. And here's another thing that I think he's changed from last year to this year. Last year, I think he tried to do too much of, I'm going to carry the team. I'm going to make it happen.
Yep.
And he referenced that a little bit when the season was over. Like, I got to get back to the basics, right? I didn't do some of the basic things that Shanahan expected me to do last year. And I kind of went, I'm going to show everybody, right, that I'm Mahomes or Josh Allen and I can make all these plays. And I think it led to some inconsistent play, inconsistent throws, inconsistent weeks from the offense. This year, he's been a machine as far as, hey, this is what I'm coached to do. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to do it right. And wait, I'm going to still do it right. If it's not there, okay, now I got to get out of the pocket and make something happen. And you can see he's definitely a better athlete than he gets credit for. His arm is a little more powerful than it gets credit for. But when you get into the 49ers, and this is where we can have a discussion. I'm still sitting here and go, yeah, they might be the number 1 seed, and I'm not sure they can really get to the Super Bowl. Not with this defense.
Right.
You know, they have issues, as you saw last night. And I don't think they're going to get fixed here anytime soon. And even if Fred Warner's back for a divisional game or an NFC championship game, he's not going to be 100% Fred Warner, and that's just one position. So that's where they're going to really have to ride this offense, and Shanahan and Purdy are going to have to be magic men if they really want to run the table and stay at home for the Super Bowl.
This is where I was a little surprised they didn't make more moves through that group at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
but
right.
I think it goes back to what you said. You're like, they're kind of in this competitive rebuild. They're not going to sink a ton of assets into this year.
Exactly.
They're just so good on offense that it's like, oh, wow, that happened fast. To your point about asking anyone else, like name people on the 49ers front. Like these are the players logging snaps for them right now. Sam Okawanu.
Yeah, right.
Keon White,
You're right.
who they got off the scrap heap from the Patriots.
Right.
Bryce Huff. Cleveland Farrell is still in the league.
Exactly.
Which is like when you hear
And they
Cleveland
just signed
Farrell's
him
name.
a few weeks ago.
Right. You're like,
Maybe about
Cleveland
5 or 6
Farrell's
weeks.
hanging
Exactly,
around.
Right.
CJ West and Alfred Collins are rookies.
Yeah.
And they're not first rounders.
Right.
I like Alfred Collins a lot, but like he's still a rookie out there.
Exactly.
Jordan Elliott, Kalia Davis, Yetur Gross-Matos. Like nobody out there is
Not household names.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not
And that's
dominant.
just the front. When you think of the guys that are logging snaps across the board everywhere, this is what it's like.
It's like that everywhere.
So-
Exactly right. And that's where when they play great offenses, that's what you're going to worry about. You're
Like
just going to
last
go,
night.
yeah, you're going to be like, well, their offense is going to have to win it. Because you've heard now the 2 games in a row, Collinsworth said it, Aikman said it last week, they can't rush 4 and get to the quarterback. That's a problem. So within that, all right, they can't rush 4 and get to the quarterback. And then, okay, we want to blitz, but they're not that good covering man-to-man or doing that where they can trust like, hey, we're going to blitz and we're going to hold up there as well. So it's a little bit of a double whammy. And then I think on top of that, what makes it a triple whammy is you got, like you said, some young guys and some other guys that have never played a lot to where I don't think Robert Saleh can just go, hey, we're going to run, a defense we ran in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, right? They're not ready for the advanced stuff. But nonetheless, it is just unbelievable performance, unbelievable game. Christian McCaffrey is unreal and what he's doing. Run game, pass game, nothing like him, really. One of the special players we've ever seen in the sport. But damn, it was fun. And we didn't even talk about the Bears yet because that was damn fun too.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears right now, whether it's the run game, I feel like when they need to scheme people open, they have a play every time. The last drive of the game, I was like, oh, man, another got to have it down. What are they going to do this time? It's like wide open.
They, like the 49ers are playing with house money, right? To me, it's like I don't think, like, football people thought, oh, the Bears might be in the 1 seed and the 49ers were going to be in the 1 seed, right? Everybody knew the 49ers were dangerous, but I don't know if anybody thought, hey, they're a type of team that's a Super Bowl team this year. So, but they're kind of mirror images of each other. It's going to be about their offense. The Bears have the same problems as we saw last night. The Bears, and I wanted to talk about this on Football Night in America, Dennis Allen's extremely creative. They're not super talented on defense either. That's the problem with both of these teams. They're built right now, the offense is where it's at, and Dennis Allen has to trick it up and take some chances and do some things he doesn't want to do, and that's tough because once Shanahan starts to go, oh, wait, they're doing this to us when we're in this, and they're taking that chance there. Oh, when we get in this formation, they're doing this and kind of taking a chance to stop this. All right, so this stuff will be open. And that's where he cracks the code. And that's where both of them are the ultimate code crackers. I mean, that's what they are. I started to say that on Saturday night. Once they get a feel and they start to know what you're doing, like, good night. And, yes, it happened with the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, how could you not be blown away by Caleb Williams? That would be the first thing I just want to say on that side of the ball. Caleb Williams, again, I'll state it. I stated it before. He'd still be my number one pick out of I know Drake May's closed the gap. I get it. Drake May's damn good. But Caleb Williams does things to me that, like, I've seen only special quarterbacks in the history of football do. It's not perfect yet. We know that. Collinsworth did an incredible job because we've talked about this, where I'm here a lot of Mondays and I go, Caleb was good, but he still missed a few throws where I go, you're too good to miss that throw, right? And Collinsworth pointed out 3 or 4 of them last night where you're like, what? How can you make these 3 or 4 throws you just made and then you're just fading away to the right and there's somebody wide open and we throw it 10 feet over his head, right? So he's still, like, in the process of getting better. And we're watching it, and we're also watching him make plays where you go, I've seen Aaron Rodgers and John Elway make that throw like that. I mean, the first touchdown pass, flat-footed from the 46-yard line, throws the ball 6 yards deep in the end zone. Not a step, flat-footed, feet cockeyed, boom, Luther Burden, post route touchdown, 52 yards in the air, barely tries. Then the jump off sides, throw the ball 54 yards in the air, and the ball doesn't go 10 feet off the ground, and to throw it 54 yards and just be like, shoo!
It's like a Nerf ball.
That's
what it always looks like.
That's what it is. Yeah. I mean, that's how special he is. And where the future is bright for both of these teams is you just go, this is the tip of the iceberg for Caleb Williams. I mean, I guarantee you Ben Johnson only has 50% of his offense in still to this point. He can't give it all to him because we're still learning in the learning process.
Especially after last year. It was not broke him, but
exactly.
It did some damage. It needs to be cleaned up.
And it's another system, and it's a more advanced system. So there's a lot on his plate right now, but he's getting better at it. And what I think the encouraging thing for the Bears is to go, hey, most games we win through our run game. Last night, we couldn't run the ball. We had to put it on Caleb Williams. Robert Saleh had some plays where he's like, I don't give a shit what they do. They're not going to run the ball up the middle. And they were able to rely on Caleb Williams and his phenomenal ability and some of the big throws he has to an extent I don't think we've ever seen so far in Caleb Williams' career. And he delivered a lot. And, of course, had a few drops, too, at the end of the football game. But, man, is he fun to watch. And I just say watch out for Chicago. They're young, and they're still learning how to win and be a successful franchise. But the future's bright.
Saleh run blitzed them over 33% of the time, which is not his.
That's not his thing.
No.
But they looked at it, and, knowing that crew out there, first off, Saleh's, they got a little of that, like, wait, if we're going to go down, we're not going to go down this way, right?
Yep.
They're that way. And they usually evaluate the game the right way, Shanahan and Saleh. So they looked at it, and they were like, wait, the Bears, it's all like the run game is phenomenal. Caleb Williams in the pass game is a little bit all over the place at times. We might have 2 or 3 good weeks, and then we have a week or two where we're like, just okay. So they played where we're not going to let them gash us in the game, and we're gonna see if Caleb Williams can beat us with his right arm. And he almost did, as we know, and had a chance on that last play. And he should have lofted the ball up in the air a little bit more because I think he would have had it.
He was open.
He might have had Colson Loveland right away, but I understand where he didn't throw it there. He's just starting to move. He's kind of in a weird position. It's like, he's got to get it out quick and get it in the back of the end zone. So he waited for something to show up, but didn't throw the appropriate ball, waited as long as he could. But, man, that was an awesome game to watch.
Jags 67-94. Saleh self-scouted himself selflessly.
Exactly. That's exactly. He sacrificed. He knew he was in a little bit of I got to pick my poison here. And I think with that, too, they looked at it and said, wait, we don't want to we got a good offense. Let's force the issue. Let's not let them bleed us out, basically, and run for 5, run for 8. And we're sitting there kind of like the Bears defense was like, it's an 11-play drive. We've been on the field for 6 or 7 minutes, which happened to them a lot last night, right? So they took the approach of, hey, our offense is going to chew up clock and go on sustained drives. And our defense, we're going to not let them do that to us and take some chances. And if Caleb makes some plays, then so be it. Then that's the kind of game it'll be. But it's not going to be DeAndre Swift and Monungai just smashing it down our throat all game long.
As you see the offensive comparison, both teams just completely go off. For Caleb Williams, he probably felt like he was back at USC all over again.
Right?
It was I got to go answer
awesome.
again.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm out on the West Coast. This is awesome. It's great throwing weather. You're seeing the variety of throws come from Caleb Williams. But as I sit here, and again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this whole playoff chase. Because if the 49ers lose on Saturday against the Seahawks, and the Rams, let's just say, win tonight, Monday Night Football, and then win next week, the Rams will go to the 5 seed. The 49ers will go to the 6 seed.
Which is insane.
And which is now, we're going to Philadelphia instead of going to Carolina, right? So that's what's so crazy about this.
Jarring difference.
We could be the 1 seed, have a bye, and never leave all the way through the Super Bowl, and then we could lose and have to go to Philadelphia 6-7 days later and play them and then be on the road the whole time? I don't think there's a team that home field advantage is more important to than the San Francisco 49ers and the whole NFC. Because of their defense, they need the crowd noise for the advantage, right? And because of that, yes, I look at that to be really important for them. But I still sit here, and I root for the 49ers and Shanahan, and I like the Bears and all that. I'm a huge fan of Caleb, and I talk about Ben Johnson almost weekly, right?
Right.
But I still sit here and go, I don't really know if I think either one of those teams can go to the Super Bowl. And I know that's crazy to say after what we saw, and they both could be the 1 and 2 seed, but Connor, I'm at this spot a little.
Someone has to.
Well, about 8 weeks ago, I was like, the NFC is going to win the Super Bowl. The NFC is going to win. There's more complete teams. And here we are at the end of the year, and I'm starting to go, man, the NFC's got some holes. The NFC and some of these AFC teams are starting to round into shape and becoming complete teams.
Right.
The Texans and the Jaguars and the Patriots are doing it right in front of our eyes here. And so now I'm like rethinking and recalibrating all of this stuff, and it's just it's a crazy year, and the NFC seems pretty wide open.
Well, one of those teams in the AFC that has not rounded into being a complete team is the Buffalo Bills right now. Right. And no question, they should have won this game yesterday. You don't see Josh Allen miss that kind of throw. Another game that came down to basically the last play of the game.
Right.
I know there was an onside kick, but that didn't matter. The Eagles beat the Bills 13-12. The Eagles play such strange games, Chris, because you watch the first half of this and you're like, Bills offense can't do anything right now. It feels like they might not even score a single point.
Right.
But then the Eagles have these second halves or halves at a time. Jalen Hurts didn't complete a pass in the second half.
Did they get a first down? Did they ever actually get a first down? I don't know.
I don't know if they did. I know he didn't complete a pass.
I know at one point it was like, no, they have not got a first down yet. And here, I can look at it real quick, but I don't think they did. And if they did get a first down in the second half, it was only one. It's frustrating to watch, as we've talked about. It's the reason they got one.
Yeah.
It's the reason why, I don't think a lot of the Bills' defense, but this was a game where I go, this is where the Bills, when you're one-sided or not real good at something, they can overplay that and then protect the other stuff, right? And this was a game where I said to Florio on Thursday, I said, the Bills will be able to go all in on the run game, And they'll go, wait, the pass game's simple, so we can kind of still figure out how to protect ourselves there while stopping the run. And there they were. They hung in there. But the Eagles reminded us yesterday. They reminded us that, one, when Jalen Carter's back healthy.
My goodness.
Right. My goodness. Exactly right. When Jalen Carter's back healthy and their defense plays like that, I don't give a shit what their offense does. They can win games like this. They've proven this to us. They have a Super Bowl defense. They do. And I look at it, and we said this a number of times during their winning streak in the middle part of the year. We go, I don't know if their offense has to be that great. If their defense plays this way, and as long as Jalen Hurts or nobody turns the ball over, the Eagles are really tough to beat, even with the offense disappearing for 2 quarters like it might have in Green Bay and Detroit and all these other games that we still go, but they won those games. They won them, even though their offense was way below average in that. And that's what's incredible. And, of course, they're battle-tested. They know how to play playoff football. They don't feel like the team of 2 years ago that was, like, limped into the playoffs and got blown up by the Buccaneers. I don't think it's that. Yeah, they're trying to find their way, but I still think there's confidence here that they think they can do it. And I do take into account here, when you've been to the Super Bowl 2 out of 3 years, you can get a little bit like middle of the year, like, is it really a big game? I mean, our blood pressure was up here for the championship game in the Super Bowl. I don't know, week 11, big game, right?
Human nature.
Exactly.
Like, people can say, how can you not? It's the NFL. It's human nature.
It's human nature. They've played in a lot of big games. They're a little numb to maybe some of the middle of the season games, right? To where now we're getting to the time of the year where it's like, okay, yeah, now it's a big game. It's the end of December, and it's Josh Allen, and it's 4:25, and we're getting close to the playoffs.
It's 20 degrees
now
out.
Hold on, let me buckle up. Yep. Now we're ready to play some football. And that's what the Eagles are scary, and Jalen Carter is just a freak of nature.
Yeah, he had 5 total pressures yesterday. He was dominant in the middle as a pass rusher. Jalen Phillips had 7.
Yeah, they were all over. Josh Allen, and this is where these games are tough. Josh Allen had a number of plays where it was like, he thought he was going to be able to get out of trouble, and it was like, I can't run away from this crew.
Yes,
right?
Which is rare.
It's rare. And we went through I do little packets at the end of Football Night in America, like a breakdown, the big game of the day. What was one underlying theme, right? And early on in the game, I was like, it's Jalen Carter. And a few of the other people that work the show were like, he doesn't have a tackle. He doesn't have a – and I was like, no. I was like, I wish I would have documented it, because I was like, no. He's – effed plays up, I want to say my word, right? He messed some plays up, and he was a difference maker. Then he started to get the stats to go along with it. And
the sack.
Right, and then the blocked extra point, which actually ultimately won the football game for them. Right.
Yeah.
The block extra point, Josh Allen having to hear that you choked in a big game and missed the easiest throw of the season. I mean, yeah, that's real. Josh Allen's the man. He's arguably the best player in football. He hits that throw 100 out of 100. I mean, maybe it's 199 out of 200, where, you know what I mean? That was a shocking miss. So you take the block extra point, of course the missed touchdown or missed 2-point conversion, and then also the controversial fumble early on in the football game, with whether it was a fumble or a forward pass. Those were 3 monumental moments of the game, of course, that, dictated the outcome. And, we can kind of unpack them one by one if you want. Or
absolutely. Well, the homies are debating in the chat. Yeah. Broadway for Real said, people shading Josh Allen for missing 1 throw against a defense with all pros in almost every position is crazy. But Ben98 responded, no people shading Josh Allen for scoring 0 points for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, well, and I get that. But this is where, this is a great conversation here. Ben98, first off, receivers can't get open. And we got Brandon Cooks was the main guy yesterday.
That was startling.
Right? So that's that. I mean, and that hasn't been said in 3 years in the NFL. Right? There's a reason he's on his second team this year, and he's been on a whole bunch of other teams. So there's that right there. He doesn't have the greatest support around him. And yes, him scoring 0 points, I get it. I'd rather have the 0 points, though, in the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter we score and move the ball, right? As compared to the other way around in Philadelphia, where I have 2 all-pro receivers that we can't do anything, and an all-pro running back, and the best all-in football. They don't have the same excuses Buffalo does. And then on top of that, Josh Allen deserves the criticism of missing that throw. Damn, he missed it. He'll tell you that.
He knows it, yeah.
Choked it off, whatever you want to say, tried to ease it in there. I think he thought Jalen Phillips was closer to him than he thought, and he rushed it too. So, yes, just like I said Lamar Jackson on that field last year could have thrown a better ball to Mark Andrews. I know Mark Andrews could have caught it. This one is like, yeah, this is the worst throw of Josh Allen I can remember. But also where Josh Allen's not going to get roasted, maybe like a Jalen Hurts would or like a Tua would or some other quarterbacks, because Josh Allen's carried the team for 7 years and made more, oh my gosh, I can't believe he made that throw, than anybody in football. So he's not going to get roasted for missing that throw when people have been sitting here and you and I, and almost every Monday we come in here and go, oh my gosh, Josh Allen, oh my gosh, Josh Allen. I talked to a team that played Josh Allen, oh my gosh, Josh Allen. I'm glad we don't have to play him again for 3 more years. So there's a different feel about that. So he missed the throw, he choked and all that, but it's not apples to apples all the way there. He should have hit it. It was a great play call by Joe Brady. He faked the back-end crossers. Do you know that? You know how you see play action, goal line, crossers on the back end. Right. We hope it gets a pick. Philadelphia is the best at passing off crossers. Vic Fangio invented passing off crossers. And so they ran, fake it, and brought back out, and that's why Khalil Shakir was wide open. Yeah. And then Josh Allen missed the throw. He did do that, and he's going to be sick about that for a few days.
I mean, you listen to their target. You just read off the target share. 7 targets to Khalil Shakir, who's a fine player, but not your prototypical number.
You want him as your number 3.
That's right.
Right.
Brandon Cooks with 6. Dawson Knox, James Cook, Ty Johnson with 5 and 4. I mean, it's like
that's where you give it a little bit of a leeway because, and I know what Ben's saying, and he certainly deserves the criticism, but also, I mean, every game you watch, the TV announcers for the last 6 weeks ago, they're not getting very much production on the outside. They're not getting anything from the receivers. I mean, so that's a tough way to live. And then, the Eagles have a Super Bowl defense. The Eagles have not only a great D-line, I think we're both in agreement. Quinyon Mitchell is going to be my first-team All-Pro corner. Cooper DeJean is going to be my first-team nickelback.
I thought the DPI on Mitchell, the big DPI down the field,
was tough.
It was not DPI.
It was definitely not. Right.
That's how you beat Quinyon Mitchell. Is like you better hope the refs
throw it up and the ref call something. Exactly. Yeah. So this is tough sledding. But the Eagles show their toughness there. They battle. They make the plays when they have to. And then that other. The fumble, the Josh Allen fumble, I thought that was pretty controversial. I know, the tuck rule thing doesn't exist anymore, right? So that's gone. As far as when a quarterback tries to pull it back like Brady did. He was standing there, he did this, right? And the ball was still kind of going down as he was still kind of tucking it, and that's when he lost it, right? That rule's gone. That's not there, okay? And I don't think Josh Allen was trying to throw this football, all right? I don't. I think he was trying to stop it. He was going like this. But there's nothing in the rule book that says we think he's trying to stop it.
Right.
The arm was going forward, and the ball went forward. There's no denying that. Now, was he trying to stop when he was right here kind of throwing his sidearm? Yeah, I totally think he was. But it wasn't like tuck rule, I'm bringing the ball back into me. The arm was still going in the throwing motion, and he lost the freaking ball. So that's where I thought it was. I did not think that play would be upheld. Either way, that was a big moment, and we talked about the other ones. Eagles had it going a little bit early on. Right. Run game was going. Pass game was going. But, again, it goes back to they could start a game and maybe have a wrinkle or two, but then defenses like we've seen with a guy like McDermott, they start to go, okay, they're doing this and this. Let's just adjust a little bit.
And that's it.
And then they don't have any other answers. Yeah. And we've seen that a lot from the Eagles, and that's the thing that's going to worry us all as we go through here.
So the Eagles hold on, but they can't be the number 1 seed. They can clinch the 2 seed week 18 with a win, of course, against the Commanders, plus the Bears losing to Detroit as we see the NFC
could
standings.
happen.
Could happen.
Yes. And what I'm thinking here, and this is where this is interesting, and please leave this up here, Pete, because my goal – if I was 2 or 3, would be I don't want to play the Rams. That would be my goal. Okay?
They might be the best team in the NFC, and they're in the 6th.
Exactly right. I would not. So if I'm Philadelphia right now, right, it's a good discussion on do we want to play or do we want to rest and be at our best at the wild card? I think Detroit's going to play, right?
Oh, yeah, that's just their DNA.
Detroit's going to play. And Detroit's going to be able to move the ball in Chicago's defense. And I'm sure Dan Campbell would love to end the year beating Ben Johnson in Chicago and dropping them down a seed in the playoffs.
Right.
So that's where you look at 2 teams that go, there's not a ton to play for other than seeding. And, yeah, I'd like to avoid the Rams, but at the same time, you don't even know what's going to happen because the Rams could win the next two. The 49ers could lose the last game, and now the Rams are the 6th seed.
That's
so
the problem.
There's going to be some thinking in both conferences about what the approach should be here going into Week 18.
And the books have the same thought as you. The Lions are only a 2.5-point underdog.
Right.
That's nothing. It's not less than a field goal. So they think they'll be playing all out, and they have a chance to win.
I think so. We have a number of teams that are going to have to think about, especially without the first 2 seeds having a bye, right? To where now you're the 2 or 3 seed. Do you want to sacrifice playing and, maybe jumping a spot or keeping your spot? Or do we want to sacrifice the game in general so we feel like we're at our best and healthiest and freshest for the wild card?
What do you think is more important?
I'm old school, and I would go, it's more about us. Right? We need to be at our best for the wild card game. So, yes, unless I was playing for the number 1 seed or a big jump in the standings, if it came down to 2 or 3 or whatever, I don't know if I'd care. And I'd go, we're going to be home at the wild card game, and I want to make sure we're at our best for the playoff game that matters instead of fighting to be the 2 seed instead of the 3 seed.
It doesn't mean anything at that point. And like you said, you can't even sit there and truly predict the matchups. And you're not sending your backups out there to lose. They're still going to play to win. So there's too much unpredictable nature. I'd rather go with what I can predict, and that is trying to keep the team healthy.
Right.
Which, in this sport, is everything
about
at this point of the year.
Exactly right. Exactly. I think that's the way you'd err. I think we're going to see more decisions like that than we think. And the AFC, I know we'll talk about it in a little bit too, but there's some of that conversation going on too. Houston, the Chargers, Buffalo. What do you want to do? Do you want to be the 7th seed? Do you want to be the 6th seed? Do you want to be the 5 seed? Does that matter to you? Or do you just get ready for the wild card game? A lot of that. There's going to be some tough conversations in some of these facilities today about how they want to approach the week.
So the Bills are locked into a wild card spot now as we opened with the Patriots watching them on their team bus lose. The Patriots win the division officially as the Bills sit in the AFC standings. It's going to be kind of interesting to see what the Bills do next week against the Jets. That's what I mean. It's a 4:25 game on a Sunday.
Right.
I think Josh Allen has an Iron Man streak, so no matter what, he'll come out and take a snap.
Yep.
Do you let him play a quarter? Do you let him play a half? Do you just play? I mean, it's the last game at the Bills Stadium, so the environment's going to be bananas there no matter what.
Right.
Mitch Trubisky will beat the Jets anyway. That's not the conversation here. It's just a matter of what you want to do and how you want to play it.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do.
I know. Is New England going to play full throttle against Miami? Or are they just going to go, wait, we think Denver – what are the Chargers going to do? Because that dictates the Chargers play Denver. And will the Chargers try to play and win the game to hope to be a 5 seed instead of Houston and maybe hope what are they going to do? Are they going to just play that? There's a lot of things here in the AFC. I don't know if we have enough time to break this down.
Maybe more.
Right?
We're back, obviously, 2 p.m. live on tomorrow.
We'll
so
have some of these
might be larger combos for that as well.
But it's a good conversation, and I think we do got to break it down. But, yeah, there's going to be that same stuff there as far as what do we want to do in the AFC. Do we want to move up a spot? Do we care if we fall down a spot, right? Or do we want to rest up and be at our best for wild card weekend? For most of these cases, I tend to go be your best for the wild card weekend. There's probably a few that don't stand true, and maybe we'll unpack that tomorrow a little bit more.
This show's a good palate cleanser for me because all day Sunday, my version of content is the tankathon breakdowns, strength of schedule, what losses mean for the draft order with the Jets and every team around that.
Welcome to the top of the NFL.
Today is like talking about the actual sport. I tell you, when I get home on Sundays, catch the second half of the 4 o'clocks, all Sunday Night Football, I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
It's a great sport.
I actually really like this.
If I don't have to watch the Jets, this actually is pretty good.
Football's pretty cool. Last thing on this game, because Nick Sirianni just can't find a way to stay out of the headlines here. Nick, there's phones in the tunnels of these stadiums, by the way. Listen to Nick Sirianni chirping at the Bills on his way to the locker room. This is from John Clark of NBC Sports Philly.
Not so much anymore. Love this shit.
It's 2 things from me, and then I really want your take.
Yeah.
One, like, we've all played with someone like this in our life on our teams.
Yeah.
But never the coach.
It's rare.
That's the weird thing to me.
Rare.
The second thing that I got to ask you about is A.J. Brown's look at him is hilarious.
Well, it is. It's funny.
But also very telling.
Exactly. So my son saw this video last night where I was sitting on the couch watching the Bears 49ers. He goes, Do the Eagles players even like Nick Sirianni? I was like, I was like, what are you talking about? Well, he was like, well, A.J. Brown. I was like, well, that might be one guy that doesn't. I mean, if you ask me, I think A.J. Brown's going to be traded this offseason. He won't be on the Eagles. Right. I mean, so he's probably one guy a little bit like, oh, I'm sick of hearing you say you'll give me the ball. I'm sick of saying, hey, practice was good, but then we get to the game and we don't hold Jalen Hurts accountable for some of the things you do. So I think he's at his wit's end a little bit, right?
Welcome
he's
to New England,
like,
A.J. Brown.
You, and then, okay, this is where I'm probably going to be a little different than you.
Okay.
I like Nick Sirianni's attitude a little.
Okay.
For them, I do. They're scrappers. They're not like we go out and put a show on and we're the funnest thing to watch. They're like, no, wait, let's 13-10. Let's fight it out. He's a little that way. He's emotional that way. They're like that, though, as a team, too. And you see that, like, their defensive players love Nick Sirianni. You can tell when they come off the field and they're kind of hitting him in the chest, and he loves them. So he gives them attitude, but it is unconventional. And what's weird about that is, like, he's deep in the tunnel. So it's not like the crowd can really hear him a whole lot.
I don't know who he's talking to.
Because he must have been hearing it walking out of the tunnel a bunch from security, other people, fans, everybody around, to where he was going to give his one last shot on the way.
Well, he's done it before.
I know. We've seen him do it in Kansas City.
It's like his thing. That's why John Clark has his phone.
Exactly.
Ready to
He's
go.
like, here comes crazy.
Yeah, he's like, I can't wait to have a million views. Good for him.
I don't mind it. And it fits the city of Philadelphia. So I'm okay with it.
That I do agree with.
And I think he owns it, and it is it's him. It's real. And that, as I always say, as long as you're real, the players can understand it. And they know your heart's in the right place. If it felt like fake and he's trying to do this, right, that's where it's a little bit, exactly right.
K-Gemma kind of sums it up perfectly. Nick is like the drunk uncle you tolerate.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
A little bit.
He'll say some crazy you-know-what.
Yeah, but he gets everything going in the right direction eventually. He's not like a total drunk. He just has a few drinks every now and then.
It all
some crazy
starts to come out.
Right. But more than that, more than not, he's doing the right things. So it was good. It was good to good win for the Philadelphia Eagles. Tough right there. And again, I think they reminded us all a little bit of, like, don't forget about us in the NFC, where we're seeing, like we've talked about, incomplete teams really throughout. I think that was a reminder that they could be in the NFC Championship, a month from now.
Our next game, one of the stunners of the weekend, although not all too shocking. The Browns beating the Steelers.
Right.
I mean, this is the AFC North, man, and this is the AFC North this time of year. The Browns beat the Steelers 13-6. Pittsburgh's final 3 plays. Aaron Rodgers 3 incompletions to MVS, old friend MVS. Denzel Ward with the quote of the game. I don't know whose bright idea it was to try me for the game on 3 plays in a row. I'll tell you, it was the quarterback who tried you 3 plays in a row.
100%. Yeah, this is not shocking. I mean, this is not shocking.
This is what this division does.
It is what this division does. Cleveland's defense is awesome. I mean, if Cleveland's offense was a little bit better, you'd hear me saying the same things about, you hear me talk about the Houston Texans or the Eagles, or I would think we'd be saying the same things about the Browns. But, as we know, the offense hasn't helped out and has put them in a tough spot, and the dam breaks eventually. But, yeah, and then I think you couple that with, we know the Steelers are simple at offense. And the biggest thing, back to your point of, he plays favorites and the quarterback wants MVS. He trusts him. He's in the trust tree. I mean, this was a DK Metcalf game. This was a DK Metcalf game. Yeah. This is where he has screwed the team over. And he's going to screw them over again this week in Baltimore. That's what's bad. Cleveland plays man-to-man more than anybody in football, right? He's the only guy that we've seen all year that Rodgers trusts to beat people man-to-man, or that can beat people on a consistent basis man-to-man. They don't have that. So within that took out a big chunk of what they do on the offensive side of the ball, especially the scary part. That just emboldened Cleveland. They were like, wait, all right, so now all we have to do is stop your run. Here's 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, and good luck doing that. We're not worried about any of your receivers on the outside. And, of course, we didn't see a whole lot from any of the receivers throughout the football game, right? So there was all of that conservative game plan. Rodgers was confused. I do agree with the Browns sentiment, and I said this, and I'm on record saying this about the second quarter in the viewing room, NBC. I literally out loud, I went, it feels like Rodgers and the Steelers are more worried about Myles Garrett getting the sack than they are about running their offense.
Well, he agrees with you.
Okay,
this is Myles
hear it.
Garrett after the game. This is amazing.
I mean, to an extent, I feel like they were more worried about keeping me away from Aaron than getting the win. And I think that's what came back to bite him.
It felt that way.
I don't think he's lying at all. You watched the game. You said you called it out in the screening room.
There was a number of plays where I went, he hit his back foot, and he took a 5-step drop. And when he hit the fifth step, he went, where's Myles Garrett?
He didn't want to be
He was not gonna
on that tape.
Which I want to go like, who gives a shit?
Right.
Who cares?
You're still Aaron Rodgers.
Win
no one's
the
going to
game.
think differently of you.
Well, do we think differently of Brett Favre?
Right, that's the exact
And he
callback.
faked the sack.
Right.
And didn't even
that's
get a
the
real
only
sack.
dilemma of it is that he went down.
I mean, who cares? Are we like, man, I don't know if we can put Brett Favre in the Hall of Fame.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, geez. So you couple that, and then, my problem with Rodgers is, you've heard throughout the years, and I say this, is just, there's not enough go for it, try to win the game. There's I'm just not going to lose the game approach. And that's not the Aaron Rodgers I grew up watching or, played with or anything like that. Because he was Mr. I'm going to win the freaking game, watch this throw, watch this scramble. And the last 3-4 years, it's been into his second to last year at Green Bay, when they got upset by the 49ers at home, it was just like, I'm going to play not to lose the game. And it's too hard in the NFL right now. The good quarterbacks are playing to win the game. They're coming to attack. You saw the quarterbacks last night, right? I mean, you see Josh Allen every week, Matthew Stafford. It's like, no, we're coming out. We're going to put pressure on you with our big plays. I mean, not only did they not run the ball well, I mean, they didn't throw completion percentage, didn't stay on the field, do any of that. Had a fourth down throw in field goal range where he threw the ball out of bounds to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, didn't even give him a chance, right? So it was underwhelming offensive performance, and then you get down to the red zone of those last few plays of the game. Not only did the plays stink, the thought of what Aaron Rodgers was thinking does not make sense. Marquez Valdes-Scantling on his third team this year against the second best defensive player on the Browns and one of the best corners in football, and you think that's the matchup that fits best for your football team? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe the Steelers did that at the end of the game.
Here's your trivia of the day. Rodgers had 13 dropbacks against man coverage yesterday. How many completions did he have?
Let's see. I'm going to say like 2.
3.
All right.
Once he was sacked once.
Right.
12 actual throw attempts.
Right.
When you take out the sack.
Yeah.
He had 3 completions for 28 yards. That's 2.3 yards per attempt.
That's
basically as bad as you could be against man coverage.
Well, this is where we're at. And I said this a little to Florio this morning. I said, this is how you know the offense is underwhelming and too conservative, and he doesn't throw the ball down the field or do any of that. Because when he makes a pass to Freiermuth on the last drive, everybody goes, oh, oh my God, that's vintage Rodgers.
There he is.
Right. And it's like, yeah, but where the hell were you the whole game? Like, what is that? Like, we're at a point now where it's like, it's slant, it's flat, it's slant, it's flat, it's slant, it's flat, it's back shoulder. Oh, he beat the guy off the line of scrimmage. It's a fade down the sideline. And that's where the DK Metcalf thing came back to beat him. I do want to say this, too, though. The Browns did a really good job early on in the football game. Shedeur made some big pass plays early on in the football game that jump-started them and got them up 10-0. So he hits a big Cedric Tillman pass. He hit Harold Fannin. They had a nice little screen pass. I mean, they had the right approach once again and did that, jump out on the lead, and then let their defense kind of play with that lead from there. And we've seen that when Cleveland does have a lead, they can be tough to beat because that defense is so awesome.
The Steelers won 6-1 in their last 8 games at Cleveland. That's since
crazy?
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one from Doug Clawson.
This is crazy.
Insane stat. Steelers are winless, 0-4-1 in their past 5 games versus teams entering 8+ games below 500, tying the longest such streak in NFL history. 2020, they lost at the 2-10-1 Bengals. 2021, they tied versus the 0-8 Lions. 2023, they lost versus the 2-10 Cardinals. Also in 2023, they lost to the 2-10 Patriots.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, they lost at the 3-12 Cleveland Browns.
Every game's going to be close to Pittsburgh. So it's just
the brand of football
it's
that
the
they
way
play.
they play.
They live by it, die by it.
Exactly. And if there's going to be a thing where you can look back at Mike Tomlin towards the end and go, what are some bad? Okay, maybe he didn't get the right offensive play callers, and they've had underwhelming quarterback play for all those years that we just put up there. 2020 was what? Big Ben's last year? Right, well, that I believe that was right. That was Big Ben. They started out like 10-0 or 9-1, right? And then, but again, the offense wasn't. The offense has been an issue for a while. So when you don't have a good offense and you can't put lesser teams away early on in the football game, then it starts to become, oh gosh, we made a mistake. Oh no, now they're up by 3 and all that. But the quarterback and the offense has held them back from being able to dominate the lesser than type of football teams.
Yeah, 2020 to 2021, the last 2 years of Big Ben and Mason Rudolph played those years.
Right.
2022, Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. 2023, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitch Trubisky.
So there you go.
And last year, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields.
So there you go.
They've started Mason Rudolph and Russell Wilson in their last 2 playoff games.
System not great, then quarterbacks below average is going to mean we're going to be in some close games against teams that we're better than or maybe should beat. But it's the damn NFL, as we know. And you see there that the Browns, even though they're 4-12 or whatever, they still got a lot of studs on their football team. They made a few plays. Good for Shador, right? Good for him. Good for the Browns and all. I don't know what's going to happen with the Browns this offseason. I'll be interested to see what they do and the approach there. But, yeah, that was an ugly loss by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right now, the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites for Sunday Night Football, which tells me one thing. The sportsbooks think Lamar Jackson is playing in this game.
I would, and I think that's up in the air.
Not definite. That's just what they think.
Right.
They don't make them 3.5-point favorites.
Right. Well, I think and I think in Baltimore they sometimes question, will Lamar grit it out and play in a game where he doesn't feel 100%? Right? I think there's that feeling down there. I don't think that. I know that. I mean, so yeah, we'll see.
Let's
where
get
it
to
goes
those Ravens.
Here. Let's talk about it.
The Ravens beat the Packers 41-24. A shockingly entertaining game with the backup quarterbacks out there in this one. Week 18, Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Of course, the winner clinches the AFC North. The loser is eliminated right now. The Ravens had some fun on social media with this one. Kyle Van Noy, we got the Undertaker gif of him. I love when things like this, when everybody's like us for once. They're at home watching. It's out of their control, and they get a little help. So the Ravens now have life. The Packers, by the way, locked into the 7th seed for the 3rd straight season.
It's amazing.
This game was awesome until Malik Willis got hurt.
Yes.
Because I loved watching Malik Willis play, and it was like, man, he's trying to answer every single drive, and then obviously the game ended when he went down.
All right, so I'm going to start here. Right, I'm going to start with the losing team because you just brought them up, and I got to say it, and I've been saying it all weekend, and I'm going to continue to say it here. Malik Willis is a franchise quarterback. Malik Willis should be starting for an NFL team next year, and not just as like, oh, he's a holdover bridge guy for somebody we're drafting. Malik Willis has shown you every time he's played for the Green Bay Packers, and especially the other night, he's not just a bridge guy. He could carry the football team. He hasn't played all year, basically, and he carried the team all by himself.
Right.
They couldn't run the ball. He made one amazing throw after another. When nothing was there, he escaped and made unbelievable runs or scrambles then to throw the football. Malik Willis has got superstar talent. He's got a big arm. He's a great athlete. You could see he's strong as hell and can break tackles and make people miss. He knows where to go with the ball. The accuracy is there. He is a starting quarterback. Period. I mean, he is so talented to me that I said this a little to Florio this morning, but like I know Green Bay's had to answer this question. And some of the things they said after the game, I was like, wait, are they going to start Malik Willis next week, even if like Jordan Love's back? But, like, if I'm in Green Bay, I'm going, are we sure we want to let Malik Willis go? Are we sure? Because I'm a Jordan Love fan. But Malik Willis's arm is stronger. Malik Willis is a better athlete. I'm not sure. I don't think Malik Willis is a more accurate thrower. That's where we're at. And I believe Green Bay had to come out yesterday and basically clarify and be like, no, if Jordan Love can play, he can play. But I think a lot of people in the league and the media are all like, wait, what I saw there the other night was freaking incredible.
Good timing.
It was good timing, and he's a free agent. And there's going to be somebody out there that wants him, and he's worthy of that. He really is. And here's another guy again where, we'd like Kenny Pickett coming out in the draft. Why? Because he can get out of the huddle? Because he can throw the check down?
This is traits right here.
Right.
Like,
he's traits. And you just got to figure out, is he a dummy? Does he want to be good? Okay, he does. And
can he stay healthy?
And he can stay healthy, then
that's
good.
That's really
then
the big thing for me.
Because I said, we're seeing here, we're in an era right now where we're seeing quarterbacks can develop pretty quickly, even if they're raw in college. But I was blown away by him. And then secondly, I was blown away that the fact that the Baltimore Ravens just blew away the front of the Packers defense.
It was crazy. After what Jeff Hafley's done this year.
What do you think it was? They have lack of big people, right? That's their biggest problem. It's lack of big people. They got guys like Carl Brooks, who was, a stand-up defensive end in college and playing linebacker. He's playing D-tackle for them the other night, right?
Undersized.
No Kenny Clark, no Devontae Wyatt, right? So I think there's that aspect. Then not having Michael Parsons and the chaos he creates in the run game. Again, the stats don't. This is where F the play up and all that disruption stats have to become a thing. Because he helped the run game out way more than people realize. They'd line him up on 2nd and 8 on the guard, and he'd kamikaze it, and they'd mess up their whole blocking scheme, right? So that, but then at the sheer just sight of the game, Baltimore brought it to Green Bay. Like Baltimore came in with like an intensity of, we're going to kick your ass, and Green Bay came in like, they're kind of out of it. They got no Lamar. We'll win this game tonight.
It's vintage Derrick Henry.
I
was like, it's Derrick Henry from the Titans.
I mean, D tackles were being moved back 4 and 5 yards. He was getting hit at 4 or 5 yards and dragging linebackers like Quay Walker and company for another 4 and 5 yards after that. So they brought it to the Green Bay Packers, and they played really well on the offensive side of the ball. The defense, as we know, is not great, but they're going to be playing the Steelers this week without DK Metcalf, and as we know, they don't do a whole lot. So this is not going to be a matchup problem for this Baltimore defense. Really awesome win for them on the road without Lamar Jackson, and what they did and how they did it was impressive.
Derrick Henry averaged about 2 yards before contact per attempt. That's dangerous. When you let him get momentum,
you can't let him do that.
And Snoop Huntley ran effectively.
He did.
It was like high IQ running.
Exactly right. But that's you got to run blitz Baltimore a little bit. You got to slow his momentum. You got to get people around his feet. Because when he gets to run to a hole and gets to get up to full speed, good night and good luck. And there's no freaking way I'd want to be in front of that freight train.
All right, before we take our break, let's look at Baltimore-Pittsburgh. This is for the division on Sunday Night Football.
We'll be on the field.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I can't wait to watch that.
You want to come?
I really do, actually. I would love to be in that environment.
We're going to start to do that.
I'm gonna say, sorry, Jets. You got Week 18.
Yeah.
I'm going out to Sunday Night Football. Then you and I can recap every game.
Then we can do it all.
Monday morning.
I'm going to start it.
There's going to be a conversation.
Can call the Jets to get you out of work next
week? The president of SNY on line 1.
Damn.
Let's see what we could do.
I can't call Woody or anybody for the Jets?
They would happily be like, if Connor criticizes Aaron Glenn one more time, you take him.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, you would be doing them a favor at this point. The Ravens, they're a 3.5-point favorite, as we said, -180 on the money line, which means one thing. They think right now that Lamar Jackson is playing in this game. John Harbaugh versus Mike Tomlin. Winner gets the AFC North. The loser goes to the 2026 Giants is what Pete wrote in here.
Oh, God.
Which is actually pretty hilarious.
It would be. And I wouldn't be.
Not impossible.
No, and I would be happy about that.
That would be a great move.
Listen, even with the Lamar thing, which I think you're right, but if it was Tyler Huntley, I feel like they might still be favored by a point.
I would say it would be a 1.5.
Yeah, right? Something like that.
It could maybe be a pick. I don't think the Steelers I don't think will be favored, which they're at home, which is even crazier. But this is a bad indictment.
Bad indictment.
Right, and the Ravens, like you said, kind of look like
they seem like they've found their way a little bit here, and they're not going to make the mistake of not having Derrick Henry on the field or anything like that. This might wake them up a little bit and give them a little second juice. I mean, as I sit here now, I'm certainly not making my pick, but I feel like I'm leaning Baltimore as I sit here right now, but we'll see where it goes as I think about this more as the week goes on.
All right, we're going to take that first break. Nice hour opening block. Love that. 4 awesome games. And when we're back, we'll turn to the streaking AFC South right after this.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code CORNERBACK when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
It's time for Give Me the Headlines, presented by Hyundai. Jacksonville beats the Colts. What's the headline for this game, Chris?
You know, there's that saying, rags to riches. This one's jags to riches.
Boys ever. No way is it ever. Nicely done. The headline king is back. Liam Cohen would like that. You don't want to get on his bad side. So this is a smart headline from you.
He's chippy for sure. And yeah, Jacksonville yesterday, I think the cool thing about their game and what they did, they fought some adversity. That was the big thing.
It wasn't pretty to start out.
It wasn't pretty. They played well. They made some self-inflicted mistakes. I mean, that's all there is to it. You know, they get down 3-0. They drive down the field. You go, oh, the Jacksonville looks just like they always do. Here they go. And the hook and ladder play that we saw the 49ers do.
I feel like we saw three.
I think there was 4 of them yesterday.
Every game I watched, when it came down to crunch time, I'm like, hook and ladder again.
Hook and ladder. So they run the little under route, and then ATN's coming out of the backfield, and they toss it to him, and he drops the toss. And the Colts go on a long drive and go down and score a touchdown and go up 10-0 right there. So, yeah, it wasn't easy, even though you felt like the Jaguars are playing good. They just have had a few mistakes.
Sure.
And then we had a Trevor Lawrence interception in the end zone, right? Which was like the first time in a while where we went, man, that was not the best decision by Trevor. It was a one-on-one throw. He just didn't throw a good throw. Right. It's about a month.
Yeah.
Right. But still, didn't deter them. They hung in there. And as we know, the Colts offense, solid but not real explosive, and a little work there. That damn Jaguars defense, I do think, is good. And when it was all said and done, the Jaguars they were the better football team and can consistently move the ball in the second half of the game.
7-game winning streak. That's the second longest in a season in team history. They won 11 in a row in 99. That was a crazy year. Trevor Lawrence, 2 more touchdown runs. He's got a career-high 9 this year. That's been a difference maker for them this season, is him using his legs, especially in the red area, because whenever I watch him run in for a touchdown, the defense never looks ready for it. They're like, oh, we forgot he runs.
He can do that.
Yes.
And this coach will have some quarterback draws and quarterback design runs.
Right.
I feel like Trevor Lawrence, like Justin Herbert, took the game into their own hands more this year, where it's like, okay, here's the play, but the play doesn't always work, as we know. And the best quarterbacks in the game right now, when the play doesn't work, they still find a way to make it work, right? You might want to, like, imposing your will on the game, right? That, like, Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, I think, made more strides in that area than any 2 quarterbacks in the league this year. And Trevor has done that, whether it's buying time to make a throw and scramble, the quarterback design runs you talk about. He's been damn good with that, and he's a threat down there, like you said. I mean, he's big. He can move. But, they get that. They let up a big kick return at one point. They got stopped on a 4th and 1 down in field goal range, and that's maybe one thing I complain about the Jaguars is that they're a little bit go for it every time type of team, it seems like. But regardless, fighting some adversity, get a big win on the road, and they continue to stay hot.
All right, for Jacksonville, they clinched the AFC South Week 18 with a win versus the Titans or a Houston loss versus the Colts. They clinched the number 1 seed with a win versus Tennessee, a Denver loss against the Chargers, and a New England loss against Miami. So unlikely, but not mathematically impossible for the Colts. 6 straight loss in starting the season, 8-2. Sauce Gardner left this game again with that calf injury.
Yeah.
It's just kind of been a nightmare second half of the year for Indy. And
I feel bad for them.
I do too. It's going to be interesting to see what they do this offseason. Our next one.
But, on that too, like the Jags, though, they're going to be one of these teams where you're going to go, what are they going to do this week, right? What are they going to do? What do you really want to play with an unlikely chance? I know.
Well, you have to play because you can't assume Houston's going to lose to the Colts. So you have to play to win the division. Division on the line, you have to play to win the division.
You're right.
I know it's like
no,
I just did the whole get to the playoffs healthy thing.
No.
You got to play to win your division.
You play to win your division to have the home playoff game. That's more important than the other stuff we talked about. So agree with you there all the way. Totally agree with you. I forgot about that aspect about the Houston can still win the division.
Well, what's the timing of the games actually? That's what I need to. Are they at the same time?
At the same time on Sunday.
Okay, so they're not going to be looking up at the jumbotron in the second half and be like, "All right, get out of there."
They're not going to know. Exactly right.
Yeah. So,
exactly
which
right.
is how the NFL probably prefers this. All right, the Texans, they beat the Chargers 20-16. What's the headline here, Chris?
Oh gosh, hold on. I forgot this one. Oh, Bulls on parade. Yeah, we got wild bulls running through the streets of LA. But the Texans again, to me, are a team I always say watch out for. You saw how dominant their defense could be, right? The only thing I worry about with the Houston Texans a little bit is just that penalties. That's really the sloppiness, whether it's being too over-aggressive on the defensive side of the ball and personal fouls or hitting after the whistle or maybe a pass interference. And then offensively, it just can be that way too. Illegal formations, they mess something up. Oh, somebody ran the wrong route. It's just not clean. But again, you see the potential of the Houston Texans. You do. And that defense against Justin Herbert and that Chargers offensive line, man, I felt bad for Justin Herbert. He had some plays where it was like, you got no chance to do anything right there. This is a 20-16 game where it felt like the Texans should have been up by more early on in the football game, and the Chargers did a really good job of hanging in there, making it close. And, of course, them missing the extra point after that last touchdown was a big blow to their chances to winning the football game or tying the football game.
Yeah, Justin Herbert in this one went under pressure. He was under pressure on 20 dropbacks. And he only completed 6 of 12 passes. It was just he was sacked 5 times.
Houston could do everything on defense. This is where they're going to be hard, and this is where Houston, again, is they're pretty patient with the run, and they've been able to run the ball okay to where you have to respect it. If they can just get these 2 rookies to continue to play like they were seeing a little bit, just show up a little here and there. Right. The 2 Iowa State guys, they get them going. We know Nico's real. And Christian Kirk will have his moments, but those little added pieces to the offense, you go, that's where they could be really dangerous. But big win for them on the road. Good to see them in the playoffs. I want them in the playoffs. They're made for playoff football, and be another team here. They get in and most likely are going to be going on the road to one of these AFC North football teams right now, right?
Most likely. 8-game winning streak. That's the longest active one in the NFL. Like you said, Chris, they clinched a playoff berth. That's for the 3rd straight season. They clinched the AFC South Week 18, of course, with they win against the Colts, but they need Jacksonville to lose the unlikely game against Tennessee. And the Chargers are locked into a wild card spot. Feels like they've been limping into that wild card spot with all their offensive line injuries. But they won a lot of games in the previous weeks where it's like, they grinded their way there.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be an easy out for anybody.
They're definitely not. I mean, they're well coached, and that quarterback and that secondary, as we know, it's hard to throw the ball on them. So they're not going to be fun to watch. But yeah, Houston, physical football team, as physical as it gets in football, to the point where I'm sure they would like to rest. But I think, like you talked about, the division thing is too real, and they got to win their football game just in case Jacksonville loses and they can have a home game. But, the big thing with Houston is you want to stay, if you are there, you want to stay at 5 because I would certainly rather play Baltimore or Pittsburgh rather than having to go on the road to play Jacksonville. That would not be the pick I want there. So that's where you see Houston's going to be playing this week.
That was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai. We're taking one more break. When we're back, we're finishing up the rest of the Week 17 slate after this.
I'm taking the Broncos. I am. I've been believing in them all offseason. I do like their football team throughout. I really don't have many questions about them either. They're another one where you look at and go, oh, okay, maybe, the receiver position, we got to see some other guys bubble up there, but there's not many things to look at. I'm going to ride that this is the year the Broncos dethrone the Chiefs from winning the AFC West.
That was the Chris Stradamus? Yeah, we'll get there. Somehow.
Chris Fuchsius, you call
Chris
me?
Fuchsius is actually my favorite one. That's really, really man, what a call. I looked at you like not like you were crazy, but I was like, man, I'm never picking against the Chiefs until I see it.
It's the first time I've ever done it.
Not an easy thing to do.
The first time I ever done it, I just felt like, man, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6 Super Bowls, right? I just was like, this has got to come to an end, right? You're climbing up the mountaintop that many times. It does physically, mentally exhaust you. It felt like last year when they went to the Super Bowl, right? It was like, I don't know if they really played a dominant, really good game the whole year other than Christmas Day against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? So I just looked at it that way. I knew, again, Sean Payton, I knew and then talked to a few people out there in Denver in the offseason, and I knew how highly they thought of themselves, right? And then I think on top of that, what gave me even more confidence is just went through the preseason and training camp and teams that played them or saw them or whatever. I heard the same thing from everybody. Man, Denver's good. Denver might be able to go to the Super Bowl. Like, I'd be like, they're that good? Yeah, I think Denver might have a Super Bowl type of team. And so that's what led me to go out on the limb there and pick it. And even with that, damn, if the Chargers stayed healthy, I don't know if they would have won it either way.
That's the game, though, man. Take the win.
I'll stay Chris Fuchsius right now.
Great call from Chris Fuchsius. The Broncos beat the Chiefs 20-13 on Christmas. They clinched the AFC West for the first time since 2015. Of course, they won Super Bowl 50 that year. They clinched the number 1 seed Week 18 with a win against the Chargers or a New England loss against Miami and a Jacksonville loss versus Tennessee. So they are absolutely playing for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, they should be.
Home field.
And, on top of that, I mean, like we were kind of talking about, I don't know if the Chargers play anybody. The Chargers are just like, we're on the road. We know that in the playoffs. Who gives a damn? Let's try to be healthy. So fully expect them to be the 1 seed. But like you just saw me in that video right there, I still think we still got some of the same questions about the Denver Broncos.
That's what's weird,
right?
They've gotten here, but it's been kind of a long road at certain games.
It's the Broncos are a good football team, but I think we wonder about how good they are if they have to play some really good defenses, right? I think that's where you worry about that. Do they have enough there systematically and the weapons at receiver that if they have to play the Houston Texans, right, or the Chargers later on in the playoffs or somebody like that can really play pass defense, is it going to be like this? And I think that's going to be the big thing, is where, we can see them in a lot of these close games, which they have, thrived in for the most part all year long.
Our next one, another team vying for that top seed, the New England Patriots. They beat the Jets 42-10. Didn't even feel this close, honestly. New England scored touchdowns on their first 6 drives, the first time since 2007.
That was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing for a Jets fan.
Tanking or not tanking?
That was no.
You can't look like that.
I mean, at one point, I think he was at 20 yards per completion.
That checks out. I know
20
he was
yards completion,
12 for 12,
and it was like, I mean, and other than maybe one touchdown pass to Austin Hooper, you were like, is everybody wide open? I mean, everybody? Like, why?
With pretty much all day to throw.
All day to throw.
So no pass rush and no coverage.
Yeah, not a winning combination.
No,
for your
hard
Jets.
to do.
Oh, and that's why, I mean, Aaron Glenn is going to be talked about here in the New York area, because the Jets, after winning 2 in a row, have looked so shitty ever since then. It's brought Aaron Glenn, a one-and-done type of guy, back to the forefront here in this area, right? I'm not lying about that conversation. I like the Patriots. You know that. Yep. And Drake May continues to really impress me. How could you not be? And again, it's not a dink and dunk fest. They throw the ball down the field. But they're one of the more well-rounded, complete teams, I think, in the AFC. And again, the defense, it's not as good as the Chargers or the Texans, right, or any of that, but it's still a good defense. And then their offense has a lot of versatility, and they can run the ball, pass the ball, and of course got a lot of creativity because of Josh McDaniels. There's some part of me that I look at this. I know Denver's the number 1 seed, but at times I want to blurt out, I think New England and Jacksonville are more complete football teams.
Sure,
right?
It's just you play the games and your record decides that.
Exactly.
I don't think there's a lot of people out there that would think Denver's the best team, like the favorite to win the AFC.
Yeah, right.
That's
You're probably right. You're right.
It's weird when you go down the odds. It's pretty
tight,
even,
right?
Yeah, across the board. Like, it's kind of anything can happen, which is why you so desperately want the 1 seed, because that avoids one more game of anything can happen.
You're at home, right?
Right,
exactly right.
Like,
that's why it's.
What if New England runs into Josh Allen again? Sure, New England should win, but
we know they might not.
That's
they
not always how it
2
goes.
Weeks ago
right.
at home.
That's
right.
the point.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's crazy. We could see that in the first round. It really is.
So. Apparently, Drake May did 2 things yesterday that Tom Brady never did.
Yeah.
Which is like, this is pretty jarring.
Right.
He's the first player in NFL history with at least a 90% completion percentage, 5 touchdown passes, and 250 passing yards in a game. The other one, which is more, I was kind of shocked Brady hasn't done this. He's the first Patriots quarterback to throw touchdown passes to 5 different receivers in a game.
Yeah. That's
a lot.
It is a lot.
But Brady just did everything.
Right. Brady did everything. You figure he's done it all. Like, there's no record he doesn't have or hasn't done before. I guess it speaks to this team a little bit in that, Stephon Diggs is the go-to guy, but not so much that it feels like it was Wes Welker in its prime or Gronk in its prime. It felt like, and Brady in his good years, if he had 5 touchdown passes, you were like, well, 2 of them went to Edelman, right? Or
Randy
maybe
Moss.
3 went to Gronk or 4 went to Moss, right? And so I guess that would be the difference. But that speaks to the versatility I do think the Patriots have. They got 2 tight ends that can catch the ball. They got a number of receivers that can do it. They got 2 different running backs, right? That's where I talk about the complete team, is the versatility of their offense, and that they can get in the shotgun and spread you out and tear you up, get in the power run game and run the ball that way. They got great screens, trick plays, all of that. All right, pop quiz, Connor.
Oh, boy.
Okay, blind resume. What quarterback is this right here? All right, 13-3, completion percentage 64.6, 245 yards a game, 7.3 yards per attempt, 31 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. This is fun. We're having fun. What quarterback is this? Don't worry, this confused me earlier today.
No interceptions.
Yes, right.
Oh, it's all of the quarterbacks that have played against the Jets. There it is. Can't fool me.
You got it. Connor knows his own shitty team that well. Way to go.
Yeah, nice try, guys.
Yeah.
The no interceptions was the
Florio
dead
got
giveaway.
me today, and he was like, they're 13-3, and it blew my mind. I was like, what? Who's 13-3 that hasn't thrown an interception? What? And I couldn't figure it out. So good for you for being cool and calm.
That's one of the better blind resumes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Man, that is truly pathetic. And
yes, it is.
What's even more pathetic than that is the Jets have been outscored 153-46 across their last 4 games. That's, of course, the worst 4-game stretch in franchise history. Not even Rich Kotite did that. This is why, whether it's going to happen or not, but why at least the question is being asked. I don't think Aaron Glenn is getting fired.
Right. 4 years on the deal still.
Yep, 4 years on the deal.
Right.
But I think it's at least moved to 1%. 2%. Where if you asked me 4 weeks ago, I'd say there's no chance in hell he's a one and done.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen either. But there's enough of an uproar up here in the Northeast to go, it's going to catch some people's attention to the Jets. And I know Florio has said a few things too, and knowing Florio, he usually knows people inside the organization to go, hey, there's some people that aren't sold there, and that's what he said last night on Football Night in America. But I think between what we're seeing, the collapse at the end of the year, the quarterback situation, and that he wanted Justin Fields, and that was not the right decision, and that you're a defensive coach, you didn't coach the defense, and you're going to set a record for not getting an interception in an NFL season, that's just not a good look, and that's going to start the mouth breathers on WFAN radio calling Boomer Esiason going, hey, first time, long time, the Jets got to get rid of this guy, okay? They just got to – and that's what the talk is going to be up here for the next week, that's for sure.
The only defense I can give of people that do want the one and done, I'm just right in the middle, man. Like, if you run it back, it's like, yeah, it's tough to be to fire a coach after 1 year. The problem is to defend the people that do want that. The Jets have gotten worse in every way this year.
Yeah.
And they were bad last year.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Right.
So there's nothing you go, every time a new regime takes over a really bad team, you don't expect them to be good. You don't expect them to even maybe be average.
Right.
You try to hold on to the little things of like, oh, this is what we're trying to do. There's nothing to point to that you think they're trying to do. That's why the people that say that, I agree with you. It's a lot of time it's like loud and noise. But that's the problem is that he's opened the door because they're not good at anything.
No. There's some tangible things.
Players have gotten worse for the most part.
There's some tangible things you can really latch on to here to go.
Which is
That's
concerning.
Concerning, exactly right.
So
That's where we are.
Probably just tear down the roster and see if it improves here too. Seahawks beat the Panthers 27-10. Seattle 13 wins this season. That ties the franchise record, by the way. They had 13 wins in 2013 and 2005. They're 7-1 on the road this season, 14-2 on the road in 2 seasons under Mike McDonald, which is just another feather in his cap. He's been amazing. Sam Darnold, the 5th quarterback in NFL history to win 13-plus games in consecutive seasons.
With 2 different teams.
But the first to do it with 2 different teams.
That's crazy.
So Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre are the other company.
Right.
But he's the first to do it with 2 different teams.
It really is amazing there. And a little bit like we talked about with the Jaguars game. This is a Seattle team that's pretty complete. They fought some adversity yesterday, right? It wasn't smooth. Sam Darnold gets strip sack, fumbles. It was questionable. It was another one where I think the arm's going forward, but they let the play on the call in the field stand. So they dealt with that. Then he throws an interception in the end zone as they drive one time. And you go, damn, okay. Like, this is the kind of game it's going to be. But lucky for him, and in that scenario there, they caused a Chuba Hubbard fumble, like the next play or the play after, that gave them the short field and kind of jump-started their game a little bit. The Seattle, I'm not surprised by what they did on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, anybody that's listened to us, we know we got our concerns about Carolina. And when it comes to Carolina, again, what rears its ugly head is when they can't run the ball, it's like it doesn't seem like their pass game can ever live on its own. 54 passing yards? 54? Against a team that gives you definitely some one-on-one opportunities. I mean, that's kind of shocking. It's shocking. That is. And then only 139 yards of total offense, 1 first down on 3rd downs, 1 for 11. None of that's good there. The Panthers, the Seahawks D is real. We know that. What you worry about with Seattle is not that you worry about a lot. They ran the ball really well yesterday, but we see lulls in their offense at times, right? That's I think, the only worry I have with them. It's just that as we get in the playoffs and play better defense, are they going to be able to consistently drive the ball, be surgical, and do all the things we've talked about? They've been a little bit big play oriented, and that can be scary in the playoffs because you are playing better teams with better coaches, and they start to go, we're not going to let that happen. Let's make them drive the field, and that's kind of maybe the one thing I question about Seattle as we go forward here.
All right, we'll get to all the NFC South scenarios when we get to the Bucs game as well, just to kind of break down that situation. For the Seahawks, they clinched the number 1 seed in the NFC West with a Week 18 win over San Francisco, which is not going to be easy. Both teams enter on 6-game winning streaks. Let's get to that Bucs game. The Dolphins, with Quinn Ewers, beat the Bucs, who have just it has been a brutal end of the season for Tampa Bay. They have lost 7 of their last 8 games since they started the season 6-2. Baker Mayfield, 8 picks in his last 7 games. He only threw 2 in his first 9 right now. And Quinn Ewers, his first career NFL win, threw 2 touchdown passes and took care of the football.
Yeah, he did. Quinn Ewers, as I kind of set out in the draft process, it's not like wow, but Quinn Ewers has an NFL starting quarterback arm. I do believe that, and that's why I think I ranked him higher than maybe most people, because I just went, and this is where I can sometimes be wrong in my quarterback rankings. I always look at it through the prism of like he can maybe be a starter. If I just go, oh yeah, his tape is better, he has got a better tape, but I don't think he can be a starter. I don't look at that as highly sometimes as the guy where I go, oh, his tape's not as good, but he's got this to be a starter, right? You know, a little bit like Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett conversation I had back in the day.
That's exactly
or Jordan Love and Tua.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I can see that they know how to, do some of the quarterback stuff the right way, but this guy's got some talent to where you can teach some of that quarterback stuff you don't think he's very good at. That's teachable stuff. You can't teach, whoa, did he just throw a sidearm rocket shot down the left sideline into a cover 2, hole, window down the left? That's where Quinn Ewers can impress you. They ran the ball well, and you're saying it right. The Bucs just are not very good. There's nothing. Their defense
not well
stinks.
coached. The defense stinks.
Special teams ain't great. Missed a field goal. Let up a big kick return. It's 17-10. You feel like they've turned the momentum to their side. They let Malik Washington have a big kick return. Sets up another easy field goal for them, right? And then so much on Baker's plate right now where the offense has to carry it. They're not running the ball like we've seen them able to do it. And then, Baker, first interception. He had him. He underthrew it. Throws another interception when they're in the field goal range. Right. Then they drive down again. They get strip sacked by Bradley Chubb. So it's just one thing after another. I still have more confidence in them than Carolina, I think.
We're going to find out.
But, man, neither one of them do I really want to see in the playoffs. That's for sure.
This seems unfathomable, but the Bucs clinched the NFC South in Week 18 if they beat Carolina plus 1 Atlanta loss over their final 2 games, which is hilarious.
So it changes. For all those out there, if it's a 3-way tie at the top of the division, and that could still happen. If Atlanta wins both of their games, we could still get a 3-way tie. And within that, okay, if Atlanta wins both games, and let's just say the Bucs beat the Carolina Panthers on Saturday, Atlanta, with the win on next Sunday, would put Carolina in. The 3-way tie changes things. If Atlanta just loses tonight to the Rams, which I think will happen,
underdogs,
right?
9.5-point underdogs.
Expect that to happen. Then it just becomes about the head-to-head matchup,
right?
Who wins the football game? And so that's where there's a little nuance to this whole conversation, but we've got 2 teams not playing real good football. And, yeah, I just feel like the Bucs are maybe more exciting to watch than the Carolina Panthers.
Bucs are favored by 3 points right now.
3 points.
Going into that game.
All right.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Is right.
Wild NFC South. Maybe not in the best way. All right, our Week 17 speed round. Let's get through some of the clunky stinker teams here, Chris. We'll do 90 seconds or less per game here. The Giants beat the Raiders 34-10. The Raiders welcome to picking number 1 overall, which is great for them, by the way, as we look at the draft order for the Raiders.
Yeah, great. Not great for the Giants. I would have liked us to stay at 1 here this year.
Bad Giants win. Good. Jackson Dart played really well, which is always nice to see. There's no denying that.
Ran the ball a little bit. Wan'Dale Robinson continues to look damn
great
good.
Year for him.
For sure. Great year.
But and the Giants can still, if Dante Moore enters this draft, the Giants can still trade the 2nd overall pick, but the 1st overall pick would have been
right. Now we need another quarterback to be good so that somebody want to trade up if you're a Giants fan.
My take is Dante Moore will be that guy.
Yeah, I think he will too. Will he come out is the big thing. If I was advising Dante Moore, I would want him to stay 1 more year.
His coordinator leaving improves his chances to leave, but it's not a given.
Right. It's easier said than done.
I agree with you. The best thing for his development is to stay. The best thing for his pockets is to leave.
Yeah, exactly. exactly right.
Number 2
exactly.
picks and make like $30+ million guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly
I couldn't
right.
pass it up.
No,
I'll
it's a
just say
tough one
that.
to do. I think that'll be the end of the Raiders. I mean, you have to play really bad to lose to the Raiders right now. They are the worst team in football. I think we're going to watch Pete Carroll in his last game in the NFL this weekend. I don't think we'll see Geno Smith as a starting quarterback ever again for the Las Vegas Raiders at least. And, yeah, they're just not a good football team. And, they drive down early on in the football game. This is what kind of flipped everything I said. Geno throws an interception to Bobby Okereke, and like the Giants just took momentum from that point on, and it was like game over. See you later.
Abdul Carter teed off in this game too.
Abdul Carter had some moments.
Played very well. The Saints beat the Titans. This was a good game.
It was.
The Saints win 34-26. They were losing for a lot of this game. The Saints' first 4-game winning streak in a single season since 2020. Tyler Shuck 5-3 as the starter. That's the most wins by a rookie quarterback in team history. The positive for the Titans: Cam Ward 8 touchdown passes in his last 4 games. He only had 7 in his first 12. So both quarterbacks, to me, Chris, look promising going into next year.
Definitely. Cam Ward's got a ton of talent. He needs to take some of Tyler Shuck's polish and how he plays in the pocket and plays the position, right? Tyler Shuck can look at Cam Ward and go, hey, I need to take some of your playmaking ability a little bit and take some of those scrambles and those throws and the different arm angles. But, damn, I think both are going to be good. And, I mean, how could you not be impressed with New Orleans and what they're doing? I mean, they're not just like, oh, we're managing the game for Tyler Shuck. They're like, hey, Tyler, we need you to go win it. Like, you got to go out there and make plays and throws and run the offense. Really impressed by him. Impressed by Kellen Moore and what he's got this team and how he's got them playing. Yeah, a good win for them. I mean, they were down early. It didn't look like it was going to be their kind of day, but their consistency on the offensive side of the ball, specifically Tyler Shuck throwing the ball, and that connection with Olave is why they won the game.
The Bengals beat the Cardinals 37-14. For Cincinnati, consecutive wins for the first time since their 2-0 start to the season. On the Cardinals side of this, the bad, 8th straight loss. That's their longest losing streak since 2012. The good, Trey McBride, 119 receptions this season. That's the most by a tight end in NFL history.
Legend. Way to go, Trey McBride.
Awesome.
Way to go, Cardinals. Not way to go, you stink. And, yeah, I would think Jonathan Gannon's in trouble. And, I will say I'm just, freaking Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and company. I mean, they're just amazing. And I'm just, it sucks that we're not going to watch them in the playoffs. It sucks.
Again.
It does, right. I mean, because they're one of those teams where you just go, man, you get Joe Burrow in there with those guys throwing it, him throwing to those guys. Watch the hell out. But, yeah, they put on a clinic yesterday against Arizona.
They have a little Ohtani on the Angels vibes.
Yeah, right.
Where it's like, are we going to look at this Burrow Chase connection and be like, we deserved so many more bigger moments?
Yeah.
I hope it turns for the Bengals. I really hope so.
Me too.
The Vikings beat the Lions 23-10. You hinted at the top of this, Chris. Brian Flores masterclass. He has the answer against Jared Goff.
Masterclass. I mean, how Brian Flores is not a head coach in football, I don't understand that. He's definitely one of the best defensive minds. I was sitting there on Christmas Day. I mean, literally, like, kids, are you? They didn't want to hear it. I was like, this is unbelievable. And, I think they were looking at me like, wait, the game's 10-7. What are you talking about? And I was like, no. They're winning with Max Brosmer, who can't throw the ball. They're beating the Lions and Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell and Dan Campbell, and they're beating them. With just their defense winning the freaking game. It was incredible what they did. The turnovers, the stopping of the run, and then, of course, the creativity on the back end. Phenomenal win by the Minnesota Vikings. They're just, again, it shows you how important coaching is. O'Connell and Brian Flores, undermanned, injuries, whatever, they find ways to win game. Amazing that way.
They find ways to win games. They take away the 48 yards lost in sacks. They threw the ball for 3 yards.
It's amazing.
And won the game.
It's amazing.
3 yards.
Yes, 3 yards.
That might be the accomplishment of the year. Our last game, the Cowboys beat the Commanders 30-23 in a game that, for the results doesn't really matter too much. But at the end of the day, it was a shockingly close game.
It was.
I was like,
it was probably
wow.
the game I watched like the least close of the whole weekend. Right? It's the first day, Christmas Day. Watch it. They go up 21-3, and I kind of started doing some things with the kids around the house and do all that. And then I have my daughter's boyfriend's like, it's 24-17 now, and I was like, what?
They chipped away.
And I started to go watch it a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, as we know, that Dallas defense has got issues. Good for Josh Johnson making a few plays.
He looks good.
He does.
Like, he throws a decent ball.
He
at
does.
this age.
He's always had a live arm.
Yeah.
He's got good mechanics. He does that. We saw some big plays from the Cowboys. Not a real impressive win, but I'm sure that the Cowboys would like to end the season on a winning note.
So you'd play Dak?
Yeah, I probably would.
I know he really wants to play,
Yeah.
and screw it.
Yeah,
Like,
screw it. I mean, I don't even think about stuff like that a whole lot right now.
It's what people talk about. That's why
I know.
ask.
No, it's a good question because I haven't really thought about it. And, with the way the quarterback rules are and all that, I just don't feel like that's as much of a prevalent thought for me. Yeah, I'd want to end strong. Let's go into the offseason feeling good. Let's maybe hire Brian Flores as our defensive coordinator.
Man.
And then let's go into
That'd be a
next year
steal.
and see if we can make a run at this thing. And I think that's what Dallas will try to finish strong that way.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to shut it down. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens both over 1,000 yards this season.
Yeah.
I think Pickens has
That's
to
going
be
to be one
back.
of the stories of the offseason.
That's
is
gonna
Pickens.
be-
What are
yeah.
they going to do? How much are they going to pay him? Can they really franchise tag him? I don't know. But we'll be back here. I know that tomorrow at 2 p.m. YouTube Live. Come check us out. We probably should have engaged some more comments. That's probably my fault. I'm not
Tomorrow,
always the best of that.
Tuesday, we definitely will.
But get at us, all right? Get at us. Even right now, if there's something, a play, something you wanted me to break down, please let us know because I would love to do it. We're going to come up with a plan as soon as this pod's over. Subscribe, rate, review. You know where to find us. We'll see you tomorrow. Connor,
Good stuff.
you the man.
Yep.
Thanks as always.
Thank you.
Enjoy Monday Night Football, Rams, Falcons. All right, everybody, peace out. We'll see you tomorrow.